Conor Benn wins on points against Regis Prograis in 10 rounds. And now the question that everybody is asking, did Conor Benn look good or did he look bad? From my perspective, Conor Benn looked pretty awful. Guys, let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. Regis Prograis was handpicked. He was picked for Conor Benn to look good. Conor Benn was meant to go out there and look like a superstar. Conor Benn was bought for 50 million by Zuffa Boxing. And in this fight, the mandate, the one thing that they wanted Conor Benn to do was to get in there, give Regis Prograis a few rounds, and then knock Regis Prograis out. And then they can sell Conor Benn as a world level fighter. And guys, Conor Benn was exposed in this fight. Conor Benn is definitely not world level at all. And we saw that in this fight. Regis is 37 years old. Regis, credit to him. He has been a world champion. He's fought at the highest level. And in there, he was a fighter that was injured. And I think we knew that after the fight. After the fact, we knew that Regis actually came into this fight with an injury. And Conor Benn was meant to knock Regis out. He was meant to look good against Regis. And that didn't happen. But instead, Conor was in there and he was really finding it difficult to land a big shot on a 37-year-old fighter who is shot to bits. Regis was begging to be knocked out in that fight. Regis was out there looking to get knocked out, looking to get paid, and then go back to the USA. That was what Regis was looking to do. And Conor Benn just could not do it. Now, somebody will ask, why did Conor Benn not able to be a shot fighter like Regis Prograis? And that is because Conor Benn is not at that level. Whichever level that Regis Prograis is at this stage of his career, Conor Benn is not there. Conor Benn is probably European level at best and not at world level. But the whole idea of Zuffa Boxing in this fight was to get Conor Benn to look good as a superstar, and then they can sell him as a world top level fighter. And that's exactly what they can't do now, because right now Conor Benn has to redeem himself. This performance, I don't think, beats any of the champions in and around the weight division that Conor Benn is currently operating in. No way. And what we saw there was a fighter that had run out of idea in that Regis fight. In the fight, Conor Benn actually looked a bit lethargic. At some points in that fight, he looked like he was bouncing on his feet. And we know that Conor Benn likes the wide stance because that's how he generates power. But in this fight, Conor Benn did not display any power at all. In fact, Regis Prograis was catching Conor Benn with some big shots. And one thing I noticed that I thought was worth mentioning is that Conor Benn did not look good on the scales. And as you can see on your screen right now, this is Conor Benn, and he looked pretty frail. Like, Conor Benn looked like he hadn't eaten in a month or so. And this reminds me of when Chris Eubank Jr. came into the second fight and he looked pretty awful. And he looked like a shadow of himself. And Conor Benn beat Eubank Jr. And everybody talked about the fact that Eubank Jr. was probably sick or had some health conditions. And that's exactly what we saw Conor Benn looking in there. But he looked really awful. And as you can see there, he got busted up. You know, he was bleeding all over the place. He just didn't look like he had the ability to decipher the sort of problem that Regis Prograis was bringing to him. Like, Conor had no answers to the trickery of Regis Prograis. Now, you could talk about Regis being a very experienced fighter. Absolutely. Because what Regis did was he used this experience to disarm the younger, fresher, faster fighter. Basically, that's what he did. Regis used his experience. But we knew that coming into the fight that Regis was going to be way too much experience than Conor Benn. But Conor Benn is the younger fighter. He's the fresher fighter. He's the one that doesn't have the miles on the clock. Conor Benn is the one that is meant to look good. He's the co-main event in this fight. And all he had to do was get Regis out of there. And he couldn't do it. He went on points. He started calling people out. But I think Conor Benn has stunted his own growth. And that has come because of greed. That has come because of money. Because I think Conor Benn, for a fighter that never had a really good amateur background, Conor Benn should have gone through the normal way of developing as a fighter. Conor Benn should have fought at the British level, maybe won a British title, and then move on to European level and maybe win a title at European level and then fight his way to world level. But instead, Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn, they chased the Eubank Jr. fight. And of course, they got that fight, first and second fight. And then after that, Conor Benn is at this level where he has to fight. And guess what? He cannot fight at this level because he hasn't got the skill set and the ability to beat the fighters that had good amateur backgrounds, that went through the ranks and now have been able to fight their way into becoming world level fighters. And that's exactly what we're seeing. The difference between Conor Benn and someone like Shakur Stevenson or someone like Devin Haney or someone like even Ryan Garcia is that these guys have gone through the normal way of developing as a fighter. They are well schooled. They're really good at their craft. Conor Benn is not good. Conor Benn has not allowed himself to grow as a fighter. And because of money, Conor Benn's growth has stunted. And I think right now, Conor Benn is at that stage of his career that if his next performance is lackluster, if his next performance is anything resembling as what it is right now, I think Conor Benn might be done because he has to show that he's got the ability to get the knockouts. If he hasn't got a boxing IQ, if he hasn't got a boxing ability to outbox people and look good without getting hurt or without getting tagged all over the place and without bleeding all over the place, if he's not going to be able to fight that sort of fight like a Shakur Stevenson, then he has to be able to knock people out. He has to get people out of there to be exciting at that level where he thinks he is at. And I don't think he's able to do that. So Conor Benn is basically not what he thinks he is. He isn't. Conor Benn is not. And that is because, as I said, it's because of greed, it's because of being money hungry and wanting too many or wanting too much too soon is the reason why Conor Benn has landed in this position, because Conor Benn has not grown as a fighter. He hasn't. He's got speed, he's got some power, but before the Eubank Jr. first fight where he was popped for using drugs, Conor Benn has not knocked anyone out. He knocked Eubank Jr. down in the second fight, but he wasn't able to finish Eubank Jr. off. What we saw was a Eubank Jr. that was a shell of himself. He got up and he finished that fight on his feet. So has that got something to do with the drugs that Conor Benn was on? Has it got something to do with the fact that Conor Benn cannot take, the things that he was taking before the Eubank Jr. first fight? That he's not able to knock people out? Because as I said, if Conor Benn is not able to outbox people and look good, then he has to knock people out. At this level, with the sort of fighters that he wants to fight, I don't think Conor Benn beats any one of them. Like right now, if you put Conor Benn in there with Ryan Garcia, I can expect Ryan Garcia to stop Conor Benn at some point, or maybe outbox Conor Benn. Shakur Stevenson will wipe the floor with Conor Benn. He will outbox Conor Benn. Someone like a Devin Haney, although has received a lot of criticism over the years, I think he outboxes Conor Benn. Like, I don't see Conor Benn beating anyone at the top level. And that is because of Conor Benn's own doing. It's why he's landed himself in this position. Now, Zuffa Boxing, if we talk about them, they've made a massive mistake. Like Zuffa have made a huge mistake in this situation because they thought they had a fighter that was world level. Like Zuffa Boxing thought that Conor Benn was at that level where they can sell him to be a top level fighter. He's got a name in the UK. But to think of it, Conor Benn did not sell any stadium or any arena out before the Eubank Jr. fight. He was never that commercially brilliant or a cash cow in the UK. So Zuffa Boxing, they made a decision which was an emotional decision because they wanted to make things difficult for Eddie Hearn, but at the same time, they've shot themselves in the foot because Conor Benn is not that fighter that's going to take Zuffa Boxing to the next level. If anything, Zuffa Boxing need other superstars to be able to bring the whole label to a forefront. And Conor Benn is not that because I don't think he's got the skill set to be able to do the things that they are expecting him to do. And that's exactly what we saw in that Regis Prograis fight. Now, of course, Conor Benn's contract with Zuffa Boxing was a one-fight deal. So right now, Conor Benn is a free agent. Conor Benn is a free agent right now. Where does he go? I'll be honest, I don't think that Eddie Hearn would probably work with Conor Benn again. I think Conor Benn might have burned bridges with Eddie Hearn. I think Conor Benn might have done things that he cannot take back. And I don't think Eddie Hearn and the team are probably wanting to work with Conor Benn. Now, where does Conor Benn go next? Is he going to go with Ben Shalom? Is he going to go with Frank Warren? Is he going to stay in the US and work with one of the US promoters? I mean, I'm sure that somebody would take Conor Benn on. But from that performance, he did not look good. And if someone takes him on, then Conor Benn has to show that he's at that level to bring in the money that they've invested in him. Because I think Zuffa Boxing have made a mistake and they've made a loss in this fight. So look, it will be interesting to see where Conor Benn goes next in his career. But that performance did not look good. And maybe him moving up to fight Chris Eubank Jr. at 160 has done more harm than good. Because coming down in weight, Conor Benn just looked like a shell of himself. And as you can see there on your screen, he just looked like a shadow of himself. He looks like he hasn't eaten for 2 months or so. He looked really bad in that fight. He didn't have the punching power. He was quick, but he wasn't quick to the target. Now, look, Regis is a good fighter. He was very elusive and it was making it really difficult. And he's a southpaw. So it's always difficult to, land those big shots on southpaws, especially because they're so far from their orthodox stance. And we can see that. And Conor Benn, if he is at the level, if he had gone through the ranks and learned his trade and become a better fighter, he would have beaten Regis Prograis convincingly. But it's a fight that he won on points. Yes, he did win it, but he didn't look good. It wasn't impressive. It was 50 million down the drain. And he needs to do something. In his next fight, Conor Benn has to do something. He has to show that he hasn't lost it. Otherwise, I think it might be over for him. And all the money that he wanted to get, he's not going to be able to be a star for longer if he hasn't got the ability to stop his opponents. Guys, get in the comment section and let me know what you think about Conor Benn's performance against Regis Prograis. Was it a good performance or was it a bad performance? Let me know in the comment section below.